was driving my car in a parking lot area, and it suddenly became very icy. I started to slide about, and I had noticed that there was sort of an underground entrance where I might get some refuge from all this ice, and I drove up in there, came around a corner, and suddenly there was a wall right in front of me. And somehow I transported myself out of the car, and the car went directly into the wall. It just disappeared. So I stop and I look, and I reach down to look at it, see if it's going to come back out, and out came this huge snake. Huge snake. It startled me so badly, I had thought that I had awoken. I turned to my wife in bed beside me. I was going to tell her the dream, and this ghost-like figure sits up and goes, "Wasn't that weird?" right beside my wife. And I just freaked. I'm like, "Oh my God." And I said, "What are you doing in my room?" I jumped back out of the bed, which suddenly became this huge dark abyss that I was falling into, and reached up and grabbed, which was only a forearm, and it held me there suspended in complete blackness. So I'm sort of hanging there onto this arm, and I'm going, "Well, this can't be real," and I let it go, and I just fell like a rock. And suddenly I woke up, and there I was beside my wife. Unfortunately, this time I was awake.
My favorite donut? I don't eat donuts, dude. Why?
Chocolate.
The nighttime was really made for rest and for healing. And our people, the so-called red people, knew the balance of day and night. There was 12 hours a day for work and play, and 12 hours for rest and healing. And it is with our connection with the nighttime, that spiritual time, that we have forgotten.
We get to bed late, you get up early, you shake the trees and wake up the birds, and you come into work, you know. Basically the way we work around here. I don't remember last time I had a dream at night.
I think dreamers are telling you something. I tell him that, but he don't believe it, but I do. Don't you believe it tells you something? It's warning you.
I take them seriously, very seriously.
I get the feeling that I should be learning something from them, but I never seem to really learn anything. It's kind of confusing at times.
Although I dream a lot, and I usually remember, I can't on the spot. I just can't, I can't remember.
But I don't dream very much, if at all.
Many people say that they haven't had a dream in a long time, or they can't remember when they last had a dream, or they never dream. And yet every individual dreams every night, several times throughout the night. And I believe it's just because, you know, through their childhood, they've been not encouraged to speak about dreams. And we really need to do that today. We really need to talk about our dreams. If we never share a dream, then we allow it to go to sleep. And so many of the dreams are sleeping today.
The other night I dreamt that I was over at my father's house, and I was yelling and screaming at him, like getting all my anger out on him, and he just started crying, and he started apologizing, which is something he'd never do in real life. And then I just felt really good after.
I had a dream I stole my mom's truck, but it turned into a bicycle, and I was going down a big hill, and I hit a big rock, and I flew way up, and I came back down and down. I was falling, and then I woke up.
Yeah, I've flown in the dream once. and I was on top of the roof. For some reason, I jumped off. I don't know. I must have just watched a Superman movie or something.
Sex is always good dreaming about, so.
I think dreams sort of put your mind at ease, like after the whole day, all your little troubles, and it sort of works it all out for you. And then you can sort of go on fresh and new, like it rests your mind for you.
Sometimes what we know is true, we don't always want to listen to it, and sometimes a dream just let us know that do the right thing is always right.
I don't know. Could be a substitute for missed pleasures.
Well, I think some dreams definitely occur when you're feeling uneasy about something, sort of almost on the point of very fearful.
Well, it's probably therapeutic. Like right now I'm going through a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, physical trauma. And I think that it's somehow cleansing, that I'm so worried about what's going on in my life, in reality, that my dreams seem to be a great escape for me.
I think dreams are triggered by something that you do through the day. So I guess maybe you're in control of your dreams after all.
Have any good dreams last night?
No, I don't consciously take note of the dreams I have at night. But what I will do is I will consciously concentrate on how I want something to turn out. It's been like a daydream. And I'll use that to my advantage.
Many people in this society, particularly North American society, really don't appreciate all of what dreams can be for them. A lot of people, if you ask them what a dream means, they just say, well, you know, it relates to what I thought the prior day, and they kind of break the dream up into little bits, and they miss all of the story of the dream. We don't just dream at night, we dream during the day, and daydreams have a lot in common with night dreams. They help us to sort of plan playfully about our life, try out new ideas. You think of people in donut shops. Some people go to socialize, and some people just go to get that bit of breakaway and think and dream and plan. It's a wonderful thing we have that we can do other than just this sort of word thinking that we do most of the time.
Yeah, well, I get what I call a dead sleep, where you're really not dreaming. I don't fall asleep with a dream. I don't wake up with a dream. And a lot of people wake up and say, oh, I just had an amazing dream. I don't do that. I get up, go and brush my teeth, and get dressed and go to work. And when I'm out here slugging away and you're still in bed dreaming, I find that I make up for all that lost dreaming when I have those touch sensations and my mind starts to wander at the bench. The difference between a daydream and an actual dream is that when you wake up in the morning, you may have been a great dream, and 2 minutes later you forget what it was about. Because I find a daydream, I can go back to it if I want to. I'll leave off here and come back later.
In the dream state, the consciousness is liberated. It's not limited by gravitational pull, and the imagination is also part of this consciousness. And when we use our imagination, we can be anywhere, we can do anything.
I used to make cakes in the back and decorate the cakes. And I had this dream that I was sitting in the big tub in the back full of whipped cream, just having a nice whipped cream bath.
I dreamed once about having a nice Mercedes-Benz, driving around, having all these girls freaking out. Wow, Blanky, you got a car, you got a Benz. That's great. Right on.
When I was young, very young, and I had a yellow Corvette, and I was being chased by the police. And I got up to a corner that zigzagged, the street can go straight through, across another street, but it zigzagged. I got to the stop sign, it changed, and I began flying, and landed on a skateboard. Now, don't ask me. It's dumb, I know, but hey, it's a dream.
I once had
weird dream about donuts that I was supposed to dance over with all my friends. And then we were supposed to have a party and everything. And that was kind of, I don't know, I felt it was weird because I didn't realize that things were too big for me.
Well, what I do in my dream is, it's floating though, I'm just sort of jumping, and then at the time when it feels I should fall, I make my body go the other way, and I extend my fall, my dream, so that the feet are in front of me. And then when it seems I should be stopping again, I pitch my body forward. And it's like a little game, and like I'm fooling everybody. Look at me, you think I'm high jumping, but what's really going on is I'm floating in this wonderful, serene state.
Look at me, do you think I could fly? I mean, I need ears as big as Dumbo to carry me away.
You really want me to tell you? Having sex in a park. And there was people watching us, and, well, it never really came true, but it was pretty good.
I don't think I've ever had an erotic donut dream, per se. Oh, but there's certain textures on donuts that remind you of skin tone that would set off an erotic daydream or an erotic sensation that would remind you of something you've done before. Something of that sort, but I've never actually said, I want to do it with the donuts.
I don't like donuts anymore. I hate them.
Like I would be going to a jail cell and making donuts. Because I spent so many hours here, I felt like I was in jail.
Oh, nightmares. Oh, God, do you think you're falling and you sweat it out and everything?
When I was little, I used to have a lot of recurring nightmares. They'd be dreams in which they go to a point where I feel I'd almost be killed, but then I'd wake up.
I have nightmares. I usually get them after watching scary movies. I don't. No. I had a nightmare once about the hand that rocks the cradle, and the part where the alarm clock goes off and then he gets stabbed. That's when my alarm clock went off, and I woke up screaming. I had one about Hannibal Lecter once, but like I've never seen the movie, but.
Some of my dreams are so unrelated, they're really at odds with the rest of my life because I consider myself just an average person, but then I have these really violent dreams every now and then.
I woke up with the head, like as I woke up, I could still see her head in my hand with it all flattened in the shape of the door jam. It was wild.
It's important to not take dreams literally. It's rare for a dream to be dealing with an exact literal thing that's going on in your life. Usually the images in the dream stand for ideas. So for example, when people have upsetting dreams, common upsetting dreams are violence, dreams of violence, very common. And the nicest people will have violent dreams. In fact, when people have a lot of violent dreams, usually they're kind, gentle souls who are kind and gentle by day, and then they get rid of their anger by night.
When I was younger, I used to dream that a bear was chasing me.
When I was a little boy, I used to dream, recurring dream about a monster chasing me.
So I would go up the rocks, and I'd hide in a little crevice, and he'd be right over top of me saying, "I can see you, I'm going to catch you."
The most common nightmares in North American dreams is of being chased. Sometimes people are afraid that there is actually danger out there in the world that they should be worrying about. And yes, I always want to make sure that that's not the case. But often what we're being chased by is ourselves. A part of ourselves that we're trying to avoid. And a common thing people try to avoid is anger, for example. So often it's a dream about anger and the need to avoid anger. Or you felt need to avoid anger. And anger essentially is a very important emotion. It's an emotion that makes you powerful. If you're uncomfortable with it, It may be that that's what's chasing you, is your need to be angry.
Last time I dreamt about that, it just had its paw on me. And I never dreamt it no more.
Well, I find a dream is telling you something, like the time I dreamt that rat came and it just grabbed me right here. And I dreamt I had a terrible enemy. You know what I mean? And I did have a terrible enemy.
If people are going to use their dreams, there has to be a reason to make a study of dreams. I mean, people say, well, why should I bother? And why should they bother is because dreams can be used to problem solve our daily life.
Well, I was having a problem with this guy I was talking to, and in my dream I was arguing with him. And the next morning I figured, well, okay, this is it. And I called him up and I told him a piece of my mind. So kind of gave me the courage to tell him off.
I remember once having a dream where I was doing this painting, an incredible oil painting, and I don't work in oils, not this lifetime anyway, and I was working on a hand, and I kept rubbing it out and painting it again, and rubbing it out and painting again, and this friend tapped me on the shoulder and said, come here, stand back. And as I stood back, this hand melded into this incredible painting that was just mind-boggling. It was so beautiful, and it was kind of a lesson from the dream, not to get so caught up in the details, not to get too close to my work, not to be so involved that I can't stand back and see the whole picture. And that sort of applies to everything in my life, you know, not to get so caught up in the small things that I miss the bigger picture.
I was drowning, and I'm an excellent swimmer, so I knew I was dreaming. I know that sounds really weird, but it's telling me that I'm underwater instead of above water. When I'm making more money and the bills are all being paid, I'm above water. I don't dream like that. But when everything is really high, it's amazing. It happens more regular now than it's ever happened before.
It's one of the worst nightmares I ever had, and all that the nightmare consisted of is I was sitting in class at the back of the science room. The science teacher came in with his white frock and then went away, and it was a horrible, horrible feeling. And what it taught me was that the events that go on, either in life or there in my dreams, aren't necessarily what matter so much as the feeling that accompany it, you know. Absolutely nothing significant about the activity, but symbolically, it was just very, very powerful.
There was one time I had a dream that she tried to grab the pot on the stove, and she tried to do that while I was not dreaming. I was actually cooking, and I was able to stop her before she could grab it.
Like, I have scary dreams about people leaving me alone, and then I try to find out what's triggered that off. That's a recurring dream I have, that people leave me alone, like go away and literally leave me by myself. I don't like that. That's why I spend all the time at the diner. I like to have people around.
Our people always talked about we should provide for the coming faces. That is our purpose, and that's our mission now. And even the fact we could never take the dream away from the children. You know, fly. Well, let's encourage them to fly with their dreams. And their dreams can become their visions. And hopefully lead us to a better tomorrow through the art of dreaming.
Whoa, whoa, we're out down but a donut, a tasty cakey thing. A donut is a circle with a hole. Donuts are quite holy when you think about it more. A hole is like the void, and a void can't be a dream, but don't avoid your dreams. For if one pays attention, it's like coffee with the cream. So my friend, be wary, for if life is but a circle, and life is much like dreams, but what we are experiencing may be more than what it seems. Pleasant donut dreams.
My favorite donut? Oh my gosh, put on the spot. Okay, well, I think it has to be the walnut cruller.